So once you sign into your Writing Center portal, it'll take you to the schedule, and if you have booked appointments, you'll be able to see if they are going to be an e-tutoring appointment, which would be an asynchronous appointment, or an online appointment, which would be a synchronous tutoring appointment. You can tell the difference by the different color that the booking will have. So green would be the e-tutoring and asynchronous appointment, and the red would be an online synchronous appointment. So when you have an e-tutoring, the green asynchronous appointment, you'll click it. It again shows the green e-tutoring and information from the 2D, and then you will just download their attached file and make the appropriate edits and changes to the paper, then save it to your computer and re-upload it. In the post section client report form, you would add new and then go over what you did in the appointment and then upload the file attachment here. So if you see in the Writing Center portal here, you will have a red box for online appointments. So just as usual, you click on the appointment and you can see here red online, and you want to scroll down and download the attached file and just drag that to your desktop. Once you've done that, you want to click start or join the online consultation, and that will take you to the web page that you will be on. So once you click that, it should open up and load, and then you should be able to see your 2T in the box over here. So welcome your 2T and get ready to learn. During the tutoring session, when you're using this platform, it's going to be important to understand all of the functions. So on the left-hand side, these buttons are pretty self-explanatory: bold, italicize, underline, strike through. If you want to make an ordered list, bullet points, indent, and these are just undo and redo. This clears, so if, let's say, I made a change and I said introduction to the paper, but then I wanted to clear what my highlighted section, then you press that. This button is to insert equations, so if the paper requires that, you can use that button. These are just general formatting tools as well. As you can see on the side of my video, there's a purple little bar, so any changes that I'm going to make currently in the world are going to be highlighted in purple, and then usually your 2D will have a different color, so if they're making changes as well, you'll be able to see the difference. So the more technical functions of this platform are on the right hand side. So this first tool that kind of looks like a pen is a drawing tool. You can use it if you want to draw a diagram or kind of outline things in that way. The next button over is the print button. Pretty self-explanatory there. You can print the page that you're working on. The next button, the two arrows, are the import-export. So this is essential for the beginning and end of the appointment. You want to upload and import your 2D's paper into the text box here. So how you do that is click these two arrows right here and you choose a file. So hopefully from the first box that comes up, you're gonna have their paper downloaded, and open that up and import now. So it's gonna overwrite the text, that's fine. And the paper is now uploaded. So usually I like to do this before the 2D comes and have the paper uploaded for them here. There are some cases where they won't post the document on the form when they're filling out the appointment time. This could be because they're still working on the paper up until the point of the time of the appointment. So if that's the case, the 2D can also upload their paper or whatever they're working on into the whiteboard using the same import-export tool. So they would import it the same way from their own computer. So you can do that as well, either if the 2D wants to import it themselves, or if they have not uploaded their document to the form. So again, we already went over the import aspect of this function, but when you are finished with the appointment, you're going to have the 2D export whatever is in this main text pad. So the import is up here, and then the export is down at the bottom. So you have different options of what format you want to export the paper in. Let's say PDF, and then it'll pull up as a PDF. The next button over is called the time slider function. So this is similar to kind of a track changes function in Google Docs. So if you click on this, it will show you what has happened to the paper since the beginning, and it'll show you all of the changes that you've made, and you can kind of slide back and forth. And then once you're done with that, you click return to the pad. The next button over is just a help button. So if you click on this, it takes you to a very helpful website about synchronous online meetings and general troubleshooting ideas and tips here. The last button is a save revision. So this you can click during the session, and the revision is now marked as saved. That's good to do, especially if you're having connection issues. You want to make sure that changes are saved throughout. The last button here is the participant. So right now it only shows me, but if you're in a session, it would show both you and the 2D, and then would have whatever color you're associated with next. Down below is a chat, so this is also something that you could use to type comments or notes to each other. Especially, I found it useful if the connection is lost. Then you can type and say, hey, are you still seeing me? And communicating that way in real time. So those are all the primary functions of the platform that we're going to be using for the online sessions. At the end of the online appointment, after you have made sure that the paper is exported, you want to go back to the appointment window, just as you would for the e-tutoring appointment, and add a new client report form, and again, fill out whatever you and the 2D did during the session, and make any notes that you had here about the appointment, and email it to the appropriate people. Here it's also important to make sure that you put in the comments, see more notes on the paper, or look to the appointment for any of the recommendations, because sometimes most of the recommendations you have already gone over in your paper. One of the most common issues that we have run into when using the online platform is a formatting issue when you import papers, especially papers with footnotes as their citation style. So as you can see, this is a paper that I uploaded with footnotes. You can see a footnote there. And what this platform will do is put them all the way at the bottom, and you can see them here. That's just something to look out for. It's not necessarily an issue, especially if the 2D does not need to work on formatting issues or citations, but if they do, you can focus down on the bottom. The format of the footnotes are still kept the same, so you can edit those. So it's up to you and your 2D how you would like to approach formatting issues with that. This platform will change the formatting of the paper. Another common issue using this platform is connection issues, which will come up in any synchronous lesson that we'll see during this time. So if and when that happens, try to just communicate with your 2T, especially in the chat is helpful here, and try to get to a place where you know you are going to have stable connection, especially because the video stream is going to take up a lot of bandwidth. Something that you could do if you and your 2D feel comfortable is turning off your camera during the session. I know that makes it a little less personal, but if the connection is not working so well, that might be a way make it easier to stay on the platform together. The last most common issue that we have found was because it takes a little bit of time for both you and the 2D to adjust to this online platform. The hour-long sessions sometimes tend to go over. So I would really recommend being conscientious of the time that you start and the time that you finish. You want to leave time at the end of the appointment to wrap up and go over the form that you're going to fill out, but you also want to ensure that they have time to export whatever is in the pad. So you want to allow them, when you're still on this platform together, to export it and for them to be happy with the format that it's exported in before you end the call. So you want to leave probably 3 to 5 minutes at the end. So just keep that in mind when you are judging the time. My first piece of general advice is to practice with a friend or another Writing Center associate on the online platform before you actually mentor a 2D. As I mentioned previously, I would also recommend getting to the appointment early if you can and uploading your 2D's paper onto the online platform. Also, again, I would leave time at the end to wrap up and have them export their file or document in whatever way they like and make sure it's in a format that they can use. Finally, I would ask for you to remain patient with the technology, even despite its frustrations. And most importantly, trust yourself as a Writing Center associate. We are here to support and help students, and that doesn't change just because we're on an online platform.